One of the most important things that you can do when you're in your 20s is set yourself up for financial success. Well, what does that mean? Unfortunately, one of the biggest lies in personal finance is the younger you are, the more risk you can take. While that may be true because of the fact that you have more time to make up for losses, the truth is the younger you are, the less risk you have to take because you have time working in your side. So you have the ability to get your money and compounding to have more leverage and work for you as long as you don't lose money. And so the more risk you take, it increases your chance of losses, which ultimately is defeating your ability to take advantage of compounding. And unfortunately, what I see is people are not structuring their lives. They're not prioritizing financial structure over returns when they're in their 20s to position themselves to actually be good investors. And so what happens is if you don't structure your life properly, you're not really becoming an investor, you're becoming a speculator. In this video, I'm gonna go through the details of exactly what I mean by that. And I'm gonna also share a video at the end that'll do a deeper dive for you so I can keep this one brief. So if you haven't already, subscribe, click the bell that way you're notified every time I launch a new video. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, Cashflow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180. This video, we're gonna be talking about financial structure in your 20s and 30s and setting yourself up for financial success so you can actually be a solid investor, not just a speculator, to eliminate all this roller coaster ride of personal finance that most people live through and put you in a position so while we go through times like today where economic times are hard for a lot of people and there's a lot of uncertainty, that you can be not fearful of them and not uncertain about them, but actually anticipatory of them to take advantage of the opportunity that comes from these challenging times for the people that are prepared. I'm gonna keep this video very simple. At the end, what I'm gonna do is on the end screen, I'm gonna put a video that will allow you to go into much greater depth of this. I want to keep this as kind of a high level to get you to understand the concept of why stopping chasing this rate of return and trying to think that you got to take on all this risk when you're younger because you can take big swings and you can lose money and take risks because you got all this time, like that is what's going to help you stay broke, right? Like what I want to do is teach you to build your financial foundation and go from there. So what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put myself up here and we're gonna talk about this really quickly. So I'm gonna do a deeper dive on this on another video, and I've got another video that I have. I'll put this on the end screen. But the idea is when we look at a financial pyramid, and this is taught to all CFPs that go through the Certified Financial Planner course. The idea is to build your foundation of safety, right? So when we talk about building a foundation of safety here, this is where you're gonna have your insurances. It's where you're gonna have your emergency fund. It's where you're gonna have, you're gonna have life insurance, your car, auto, umbrella, home, all that stuff. You gotta make sure that your financial foundation of safety is built because it doesn't matter what you build on it. It's kind of like a house. If you don't build a foundation solid under your house, then it doesn't matter how beautiful and amazing the house is on top of the foundation. If the foundation cracks or has massive problems, then everything above it will have problems as well. And this is what I'm talking about. If you don't set this foundation up properly, you're setting yourself up so you go and you take all these speculative risks, right? And you invest in all these things above here, and you go and you get some crypto and you get some real estate. You do all these different things, but then the market goes through fluctuations. If you don't have enough money down in this area right here to protect yourself through market swings, you're gonna be in trouble. And unfortunately, that's what winds up happening. Now, so let's talk about this for a second. Now, I'm gonna assume you're 25 years old, okay? So let's look at a 25-year-old. You're 25 right now. And what we're talking about is, let's say you start saving money and you start saving money. Now, the idea is by the time you're 35, and we're going through a recession right now, by the time you're 35, there's probably gonna be a crash, right? This is the crash that's happening right now. This is what we saw with COVID. This is what we saw in 2008. It's what we saw in 2000, the dot-com bubble from 2000 to 2002. We saw it in 1994. We saw it in 1987. We saw it in 1979 through 1980. Like you can see cyclically, this happens time and time and time again. You can go back for hundreds of years and the market goes through these cycles. So by the time you go to 45, it's gonna happen again. And so the thing to remember is, what happens with people, because of financial structure, they don't build their financial foundation properly, right? So this foundation that I'm talking about, I'm going to use a color. This foundation that I'm talking about, they don't do that. They just go out and they say, you know what, this isn't necessary. I'm just going to build a financial foundation on sand, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to invest in real estate because I'm young. I could take, the younger I am, the more risk I could take in crypto and real estate. I'm going to get rich quick, and I'm going to get after it. I don't really care about my foundation because this is what it is. Well, unfortunately, this is what people do. And so the market goes up, and what happens is the market goes down. And so because when the market goes down in these times, what happens is you don't have this safety, you don't have emergency funds. So what happens when times get tough is unemployment goes up, unemployment goes higher, so you lose your job, right? Asset prices go down, right? And so when that happens, when assets go down and unemployment goes up, what does that mean? You still have all your bills, you still have all your lifestyle. And the problem is now you have to liquidate negatively performing assets because you have no income. You have to lever off. And if you had your foundation properly, those assets would build back up, right? They would build back up. But the problem is because you didn't do this, I'm going to do red because you didn't do this, right? You didn't build that foundation. So what happens? You have to liquidate what you have left and you have to start at zero. So you felt like you were doing really good from 25 to 35 here. But the bottom line is then at 35, a recession happens and you have to liquidate because you lost your job or your business struggled or whatever, and you didn't have the reserves that you need. You didn't have your financial structure set up properly. So you got to start over. And that happens one time in a 45-year working window, and you are really in trouble and going to have to work extra hard to meet your financial goals. If you start what I'm talking about and focus on structure before chasing returns, and you're willing to go slow to go fast, it's going to help you reach your goals much, much more predictably, much faster, and it's going to put you in the driver's seat of actually achieving your desired objectives. To me, that is power, right? Like that's how I look at it. And so you can see this would just repeat, right? We know you're going to have these cycles as years go on, right? And through your working years, you're going to have 4 or 5 boom bust cycles, or cycles that we're going through right now, right? Like that's just going to happen. So the question is, how do you prepare for it? How do you put yourself in a position to, when people are struggling in this time, so you can thrive, so you have access to money and you can grow and get better and better and take advantage of opportunity, when the people who are selling off assets right here at depressed values or reduced values that are artificially low, how do you take advantage of those times? And I'm not saying you want to do this at other people's expenses, but the bottom line is other people are going to suffer because of their structure, and those asset prices are going to be foreclosed on. They're going to be repossessed by the bank. They're going to be foreclosed on, and you're going to have an opportunity for foreclosure auctions and stuff like that. I'm not saying go right to individuals and take advantage of them. I just want to make that really clear. But at the end of the day, if you do it this way, if you do what I'm talking about and you focus on this financial structure right here, this is going to be a game changer for you. You got to be willing to go slow to go fast. Save before you invest, but save with the intent of investing. And if you do that, if you follow that path, you're gonna have to kind of fight the tendency of keeping up with the Joneses. You're gonna have friends that are doing all these other things. And I'm not saying don't put money in crypto. I'm not saying don't buy some Bitcoin. I'm not saying don't speculate in some things. If you want to have fun with it, have fun with it. But understand that's not going to help you predictably reach your goals. I'm a big fan of crypto. I like it. Don't do that at the expense of this, right? Don't do that at the expense of getting your financial structure built. Now, when I do this, what I want to say, and I'm going to go into more detail in the other video if you want to see it, but what I'm going to say is you want to start with at least 6 months of savings, of emergency, 6 months of income. And the goal is to get that to 24 months. And the reason is not because of an emergency fund, but because we want to set it up for opportunity. We want to set this up to take advantage of opportunity, because it may seem boring because you're only making, say, 4% in this fund over this period of time. But the thing is, at this point in time, when everybody else is struggling and you know it's predictably going to happen, we don't know when, but we know it's going to happen. And so the point is, you want to be as liquid and have as much liquid accessible capital at this moment in time, because while you made 4% during that time, you can make 200 to 400% over the next couple of years. And that more than makes up for what you thought you missed out on during this period of time with other people getting, high rates of return, and standing at the water cooler at work and feeling like you were missing out. You gotta have a strategy, you gotta have a game plan, and you gotta execute. That's what it's all about. And so hopefully that helps. When you're in your 20s and 30s, this is the most important time to do this. Before you go out and start speculating, this will set your foundation up for you to reach your financial goals predictably, consistently, with a game plan, and it's gonna put you as the quarterback of that game plan to go out and execute. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. That way you're notified every time I launch a new video. Hopefully you found value in this. If you did, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment in the comment section below. If you found value, like it, share it, do all that stuff, get it out there with people. Because I think it's really important for people in their 20s to really understand this. I think it's one of the most misunderstood concepts out there is structure over returns is the most important thing. Stop chasing returns, start thinking about the result that you want in your life, and then build your financial structure that's gonna help you get there in the most predictable fashion as possible. That's what this is about. If you haven't already, check out the end screen right here, the Life 180 Pyramid video. Check that out. That's this. On a deeper level, you need to get into it. You need to understand it. Good luck. Reach out with a clarity call if you have any questions, or get back to the person that shared this video with you. Have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.